part of what we could do better as Americans is having more of an extended family involved in our households. And it might not be blood family, but like, like we have single friends, right? That like don't have a partner, don't have a kid, but still, need consistent connection. So like we could, ideally have a situation where like, oh, on Thursdays, Aunt Stephanie, I'm just making up a name. Aunt Stephanie comes over and, cooks. And on, every other Wednesday we go over Aunt Stephanie's and she cooks for us. And it's just like, something like that, that was like, it's kind of unheard of in, American culture, that someone you're not blood related to, that is just a friend. We say just a friend, like having a friend isn't one of the most valuable blessings in the world, to have a true friend. And we say just a friend, like that's a mere thing. And we really could do better at celebrating our friendships.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of King Crush Thursday, the series where we highlight and uplift Black men because, frankly, not too many people are doing it. My name is Val Gay, and I'm super excited to bring this brother to you today. He's a little hard to pin down when it comes to describing his work, but just think of him as an international artist, trailblazing artist who uses sound as his way of connecting people. And he has an amazing name. His name is Mr. DuiJi Mshinda. Hi, DuiJi.
Hi, Val.
How are you?
I'm good enough. Good enough.
I hear you. Thank you. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so grateful that you are here because your presence and the answers that you will give allow us to put another wedge in the myopic window and door of how Black men are seen just writ large across the world. As you know, in the media particularly, we see maybe 4, maybe 5 stereotypes. Most of them are negative. And while some of them are not necessarily incorrect, they are most certainly incomplete. And we know that as the number of, if you will, narratives about Black men probably mirror the number of Black men who are actually on this face of the planet right now. And so our goal is to really expand the narrative so that a young king who may or may not have Black male guidance can come to this repository, see the same 6 questions answered by hundreds of Black men, and find guidance there. And then for the rest of us who are neither male or even Black, that we can come and have our minds expanded. And so I'm so grateful that you are here today. And I'm going to get started with the first question, which is, what does manhood mean to you?
I took a couple notes. So I'm going to read from my notes, and then if I think of anything else, keep going. First thing I wrote was doing what is necessary when I can, because I can. No other reason. Small example. I was coming home yesterday from an errand, and you know how we check our social medias at the traffic light, which we ain't really supposed to do, but we do it. And a friend of mine was looking for salt, like where to buy salt. And I was running low. I knew where to get some. And so I went to go get some, and I bought 2 bags. And then I called him, because if I see something on Facebook and with people like that, I'm going to call you and be like, do you still need salt? And he said, yeah, I still need salt. I said, and I hadn't been to his house since he moved, you know what I mean? But, well, give me your address and I'm going to bring it over. And he said, oh, great, you're such a hero. Thank you. But when I got home, I was in trouble because I didn't text my daughter and say I was running behind schedule. So, and I had to like, hear it from her. She's 11. She was like tapping her foot, like, you didn't tell me when you was leaving. So, and I guess that kind of goes to the next part where I was saying, I wrote, taking care of my needs before my wants. And also, I try to remember to listen to understand instead of just to respond. Um, Sometimes it's stepping back, sometimes it's stepping up. So I guess you would say flexibility and discernment are important to me, and integrity. You know, I had a job once upon a time, and they said integrity is doing the right thing when no one is looking, and that was because it was retail and they want you stealing from them. But I mean, you know what I mean. But also, I remember it. Even though I wasn't trying to steal anything, because it spoke to me, and I haven't had that job in 20 years. Later on in my notes, apologizing when I'm wrong. So, having an 11-year-old daughter who holds me very super accountable, even more than her mother does, I have to like really, eat crow sometimes and just be like, I'm sorry. This is what was going on with me when I did this, or, this is how I was feeling when I talked to you in this way or that way, which, because the same way I ask her when she's like, tired and talking to me a little greasy, I have to slow her down and say, are you speaking to me with kindness? And she has to be like, no. So I have to hold that myself to that same standard. Um, yeah, that's pretty. Oh, and the last thing, I guess, one of the most important things, um, one of the things my mother instilled in me was owning my personal space without infringing on others. So, because like, yeah, I grew up, kind of in the hood, and um, you gotta hold your space, or somebody gonna try to take it from you. You know what I mean? When you're in certain like places, and so there's a balance between like all this is mine, you know, and folks who take that and be like, oh, this is mine. I want some of yours too, and I don't have to. I don't need none of yours. I got all mine right here.
Got it. Got it. That's awesome. Excellent. 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 Thank you so much. Feisty 11-year-old daughter. You gotta love her. That's awesome. Excellent. So, DuiJi, who and or what is important to you?
Who and what is important to me? Family, community, music, art, time to reflect, exercise, consistent sleep, and mutual respect.
Nice. Nice. That's a great list. Thank you. Thank you. So, DuiJi, how do you want us to see you?
This is, I guess, it's quick. An artist, a human, a healer and truth revealer, someone who cares enough to consistently build capacity in the folks around him and himself. And I'm also an epic nap taker.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. That's awesome. Thank you. So, question 4, DuiJi, is what is your epic dream?
Um, so, I want to have a building, a brick and mortar, because like we do a lot of events and we do a lot of gatherings and we do stuff, but like we do it itinerantly here and there and here and there and here and there. So I really, and we've gotten people to show up consistently for almost 10 years, and I just want the opportunity just to be at one place, so folks don't have to find us every time, and they were like, oh, when's your next thing? You're just like, oh, just follow me on IG. But there's no guarantee that like they're going to catch up with you again. So it's kind of like rebuilding it over and over and over, and it would be really nice to have a place where a space for us to consistently do what we do, whether it's like sell records or art or books. And then another thing, I guess my epic dream, the art that I do, I want to put it on textiles, and I want to make clothes out of the textile. So in a big um event, which will probably be bigger than the space that we have, but we might start out small. But it would be an evening of wearable art with so it'll be like a fashion show, and me and my friends will be spinning wax, and there might be a poetry reading in the middle. And yeah, and it would just be like just completely surrounded by art and art making. And also enough finances to travel internationally on a regular basis. Like even if it was just once a year, that would be dope.
That is awesome. That's excellent. 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 Thank you. I think you really have been answering question 5 all along implicitly, but I'm going to ask you explicitly. Mr. DuiJi Mshinda, who are you?
I am a father, a partner, a poet, a DJ, an artist, a person who has been through a lot, but it hasn't made me bitter. Generous to a fault at times. I can be moody. I have high standards, and I'm working on getting better at communicating my expectations beforehand.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So here we are so quickly already at question 6, which is there anything I should have asked you that I didn't, or you wanted me to ask you that I didn't? In other words, what did I miss?
The only thing that came up for me when I was thinking about this was what was my most important lesson of the last decade? And I didn't write anything down for this, but I already know the answer. Um, I would say parenthood has taught me that I can't do it all by myself. And it's not like I don't have a partner. I have a wife. We live in the same house. And that's just to like, not to like make myself sound like a single parent or anything. Like I can't do it alone. But the point being that like even with my wife and me working together to maintain the household, fulfill our daughter's needs, we need help sometimes, and it's okay because as they say, it takes a village, and it really does. And so I really feel like part of what we could do better as Americans is having more of an extended family involved in our households. And it might not be blood family, but like, like we have single friends, right? That like don't have a partner, don't have a kid, but still, need consistent connection. So like we could, ideally have a situation where like, oh, on Thursdays, Aunt Stephanie, I'm just making up a name. Aunt Stephanie comes over and, cooks. And on, every other Wednesday we go over Aunt Stephanie's and she cooks for us. And it's just like, something like that, that was like, it's kind of unheard of in, American culture, that someone you're not blood related to, that is just a friend. We say just a friend. Like having a friend isn't one of the most valuable blessings in the world, to have a true friend. And we say just a friend, like that's a mere thing. And we really could do better at celebrating our friendships.
That is so beautifully said. And here, I love this concept. I hope you actually start a movement with this, because that is so beautiful. And we all need help. We all need assistance. That saying, this is no man is an island. And I truly believe that we are social beings by design. And so I really appreciate what you just said. Thank you so much. And I'm just so grateful for your presence in the world. I love how you leave space for your daughter, raising a child who can show concern and have a voice in her family is a beautiful thing. And to have a father and a mother to be able to bounce off of and see parts of herself is so beautiful. And then all the other work that you do in your care about your community and music writ large. As a musician, that I almost said that brings music to my ears, but it does, and so I'm just really grateful, and I honor you, my king. I pray that your epic dreams come true sooner rather than later, and then they become the new floors for your next set of epic dreams. And so I'm just so grateful that you are here, and thank you so much for being here today.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you. And
And
stay right there. Yeah, I was going to say stay right there because I want to thank the audience for joining us today. I hope that you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. And if there is a positive and successful Black man in your life who you want to see highlighted in this forum and hear from in this forum, please click the link below or in my bio, fill out the nomination form, and we'll take it from there. That's actually how we met DuiJi, and I'm so excited that someone thought enough of him to nominate him so that we could all hear and learn from him. I often say that success does not equal what a man does for a living. Basically my two caveats are as long as it's legal and they are not hurting anybody, I don't really care what they do. What I'm really concerned about is the content of their character and the impact that they have on their community, starting with the nuclear family and expanding out writ large to the rest of the community. Those brothers we also want to have contribute to this repository. So please stay tuned next week for yet another amazing king. And please remember to spread love and have a great day. Thank you so much. And DuiJi, thank you so much. That was really wonderful.